Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Hannah. I'm a health nerd, entrepreneur, and licensed fitness trainer. And in this video, I'm debunking 8 very common fitness myths that might also be hindering your progress and keeping you from getting the results you want. From misconceptions about the effects of cardio or dieting tips that are very confusing or just plain wrong, I'll go over the most common misbeliefs about fitness and nutrition and provide you with the actual evidence-based fact to set you on the right track to get fit, lean, and healthy. Myth number 1. Eating healthier will make you lose weight. Don't get me wrong, eating whole foods has many positive effects on your body, like providing it with the vitamins and nutrients that it needs to be healthy, and also with the proteins and healthy fats that it needs to reach basically any fitness goal. And also, eating things like whole grains and nuts keep us feeling full for longer than if we just eat sugary white flour pastry, for example. And also, digesting whole foods that are rich in fiber needs more energy and thus increases the thermic effect of food, which are the calories our body burns while chewing, digesting, and storing food. But if you excessively eat things like nut butters, date-sweetened homemade banana bread, bananas, avocados, in the end, you're still providing your body with a lot of calories. And if your aim is losing weight and or fat, it still comes down to simple math of calories out versus calories in. And while the calories out part, aka the way our body actually burns calories, is a very complex thing by itself, but that's a topic for another video. In the end, it comes down to calories out versus calories in. Myth number 2, spot reduction is possible. You've probably come across these videos right here, and I'm not saying that they're bad in any way, but what they promise is that you can lose fat in a specific area of your body, which is, I'm sorry, not possible. Because fat loss works differently. If your body is in a caloric deficit, it uses its fat storage to get the energy it needs. Energy, aka calories. And when it does that, when it takes this fat out of your body, it does that everywhere, not just from the specific area you're exercising. If, for example, you work out your abs, you work out your ab muscles. That has nothing to do with your belly fat. Fat and muscle are two different things. So it doesn't really matter if you have the strongest abs in the world. If those abs are covered with a few centimeters or inches of fat, you won't see them. And that's why there's this saying that abs are made in the kitchen, because you can only see your actual abs, the actual 6 or 8 pack, if your body fat percentage is low enough for them to shine through the fat. Myth number 3. Cardio is the best way to lose fat. If your goal is to lose fat, no matter if you're at the same time trying to build muscle or just overall trying to lose weight, cardio is not the best way to go, because cardio exercises do relatively little to build and maintain lean muscle mass. Muscle is a metabolically active tissue, meaning it burns calories even when it's resting. Cardio, aka moving your body, makes your body burn energy, aka calories. And that can help you to get into a caloric deficit. And that means if you burn calories, too many calories, by doing cardio, at some point your body will take that energy out of your muscle tissue, and that could make you lose muscle, which again can lower your metabolic rate, and with that make it harder for you to get into a caloric deficit, which is what you need in order to lose fat. On the other hand, strength training builds your muscles, and your muscles burn calories just by being there next to the burning of the calories while actually exercising. So if you're looking for an efficient way to burn calories, do strength training. Or if you are a cardio person, or in general if you do want to do something good for your heart health, cardio is still a good thing, but especially high intensity interval training is a good thing to be incorporated in your workout routine. Myth number 4, the less you eat, the better. Like I said before, if you want to lose fat, your body needs to be in a caloric deficit. But this deficit must not be too big. This is so important. First, don't ever starve yourself for no reason, ever. Don't deprive your body of the nutrients it needs, and don't mess with your mental health. First thing. Secondly, if you eat too few calories, that's gonna lower your metabolic rate, because your body is now scared that it's not getting enough food. Well, it's actually not getting enough food. So it basically resets its metabolism to getting less food, meaning your body burns less calories because it thinks that it's getting less calories. And this is probably the most common reason why harsh diets result in the yo-yo effect, because people only eat 1,000 calories a day, and then their body gets used to these very few calories, and then they eat a bit more again, and then, they're back, or they're probably bigger than when they started the whole diet thing. So 1, your caloric deficit should not be too big. And I can't really give you any recommendation of how big your caloric deficit should be. There are a lot of calculators online where you can put in your weight, your age, your height, your activity levels, and then these calculators give you an estimate of how many calories you should eat if you want to lose or gain weight. And while I say never starve yourself, if you've already hit your daily caloric intake that a certified professional nutritionist recommended you, and you still feel hungry after that, most probably it's not a caloric deficit that's your problem, but a deficit in protein intake, because our body needs protein for everything, including muscle growth. So if you work out a lot but don't eat enough protein, your body signals you that it needs more protein, which feels like hunger. And if you keep satisfying that hunger with white carbs that don't have much protein in them, you will just keep eating, because your body will give you the feeling of being hungry until it's got enough protein. And that's why it's so important to incorporate enough protein in your diet. Myth number 5, you can turn fat into muscle. This is not possible because fat and muscle are two totally different tissues. They're both tissues, but they're very different tissues. And the muscle tissue can grow and the fat tissues can grow, but you can't turn one thing into the other. For muscle tissue to grow, your body needs enough protein, and for fat tissue to shrink, your body needs to be in a caloric deficit. To achieve both at the same time is difficult, which is why there's this bulking phase and the cutting phase that you might have heard of in bodybuilding type people. But it is possible, and that's called body recomposition, but that's a topic for another video. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in a video about that. Myth number 6, women should not lift heavy weights unless they're trying to bulk up. Actually, it's especially important for us women to do strength training, because as females, our body is prone to developing things like osteoporosis, aka weak bones, basically. And strength training helps to strengthen our bones, and also it helps improving our metabolism, as mentioned before. Of course, it's possible for us women to bulk up. You've probably seen this on people, but in order to actually bulk, you would need to eat a lot more, because as always, at least 70% of our fitness and body composition comes from the kitchen, or lies in the kitchen, or lives in the kitchen, is born in the kitchen. You get what I'm saying. Number 7, the scale measures progress. You might have heard that muscle is heavier than fat. And that's not exactly correct, because a pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat, because, both weigh a pound. But it is true that muscle is more dense than fat. Meaning, if you weigh, I'm really bad at pounds, 120, 30, 40, whatever is a representable amount of pounds, but are very lean, you're gonna be a lot skinnier than if you weigh the same weight but don't have much lean muscle mass. And that's why you should not focus on your actual weight. If you want to keep progress, the best things to do is to take pictures of your body, because then you have the actual comparison, the visual comparison, and to measure. Whether you're trying to gain muscle or lose fat, just measure your body parts, and then you know exactly how much progress you're making. Myth number 8, no pain, no gain. That is just bullshit. Muscles need to rest in order to grow, because by working out, by strength training, our muscles get many teeny tiny little tears, which your body then heals by using protein, and that's what's making your muscles grow or get stronger. And this healing process happens while we rest. And that's why it's so important to take enough breaks. And also, muscle soreness feels like we've been working out really hard and being very disciplined. But first, you can have had a very effective workout without muscle soreness. And secondly, muscle soreness could be a sign that you're overstraining your muscles, which again could keep you from actually getting stronger and from building healthy muscle, because they don't have the time to regenerate. On top of that, if your mindset is no pain, no gain, it's hard to stay consistent, because let's be honest, if that's your motivation to put yourself into pain, are you enjoying that? I mean, maybe that's your thing, but typically that's gonna make it a lot harder for you to stay consistent and to basically have fun, because yes, working out can be a lot of fun. And then there's also, of course, the risk of injury. Pushing yourself to the point of pain is pretty likely to at some point result in injuries, whether it's just your muscles which are overburdened or your actual joints cracking because your body cannot handle the weight anymore, or the cardio that it does, or your heart getting weaker because you're running 3 hours every day. don't do it. Take it slow. Remind yourself that resting is just as important as working out. And that includes getting enough sleep, by the way. So these were some of the most common myths about fitness and nutrition that are pretty likely to make your fitness journey harder than it needs to be. So keep these things in mind and always remember to prioritize your health above all other fitness goals. If you like this video, make sure to check out this one right here that I'm sure you'll find helpful as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.